Welcome everybody to our first ever gathering of the coaching collaborative. So I'm going to be really short, like a couple minutes just of background and kind of how this came to be. So I don't know how many of you know Alicia Gelinas, who's our CEO. She also has a coaching certification, and her true love is coaching. And she did some coaching for a while when she left EY, and then I think ended up at the society, and she's now the CEO. So you can't do both, I don't think. Um, and so she just has always wanted to do something around coaching. And we just feel like there's, like a huge member, not necessarily a need, but a potential for members to really use this. So I had met Douglas, and I knew he was a CPA and a coach, and we had chatted. And when she brought that idea to me, then all of a sudden I met Michelle, I think for some reason, and she's a CPA and now a coach, and it's like, okay, the universe is speaking here. Like this is a thing and it exists. And then we found Jen next, and so all three are CPAs that are now coaches, and we're like, wow, what better way to do this? And so these three have been meeting with me and Alicia for, I don't know, the last 6, 9 months, maybe 12 months, Douglas, since we first
More
started,
than that, yeah.
to kind of flesh this out, figure out how to offer it in an affordable manner to introduce coaching to our members because we just think it's so important. And so these three have come up with kind of this idea of cohorts. And there's so many things we could coach on. We chose these three because we thought they served the biggest group. And I will tell you that the pricing on these is amazing. You won't find anything like this out there for both individual and group coaching. It kind of blends the best of both. And if it works great and serves your purpose, you can continue on individually or as a group. I think we're pretty flexible. COCPA is kind of just a gathering point. The coaches will then kind of run the cohorts. And so today's webinar is just kind of an intro. They're also going to be at Peak, the conference in November, and you'll continue to see stuff from us. I'll share a link to the website where you can see it. But today's session is really about the three coaches, learning a little bit more about them. You can ask them questions. They're going to talk each about their cohort. And that's kind of it. So with that, since you were first, Douglas, I'll start with you. We'll go Douglas, Michelle, Jen, because that's kind of how it happened over time.
So I can remember when I told my family that I was going to become a professional coach, and there was a degree of skepticism that I was washed with that, it sounded like, really? You're going to move from being a partner in public accounting to becoming a coach? And I had to convince them. I was like, no, listen, this is really powerful. It's really helpful. It really helps the people I work with. And I finally convinced my family that it was a good idea. And then they said, well, who are you going to coach? And I said, CPAs. And then they just rolled their eyes and they went, nope, it's not going to work. It's not going to happen. Good luck with that one. So, so I think we did kind of pick one of the hardest audiences to coach into. Accountants historically have a hard time asking for help, and have a hard time coming together to speak about things that are professional and personal in their lives, to have an advocate or someone that walks along with them. But ultimately, that's what coaching is. It's an ally that walks along with you on your journey, and that can be both professional or personal, and supports you in every way they possibly can so that you can achieve the things you're trying to achieve in your life or business. And so with that mission, I was able to be successful, as have Jen and Michelle, and working with CPAs. This is about my professional, like personally, solopreneur, maybe almost my ninth year, maybe 10th year going into coaching CPAs. I still am a CPA, which this group brings, which is rare. There are a ton of coaches out there, but there is only a handful that continue to retain the CPA designation and also the credibility that comes with it. So that's why I'm really excited about this crew. Is you're working with coaches who are professional coaches, which means we actually went to school for a couple of years and went through testing, and we went through ethics, and we have to re-up just like you do the CPA. We have to take continuing education to stay as a professional coach. And the other thing that we bring is the experience of having worked with a lot of CPAs across the country. And so that's the beautiful thing about this group. On top of what Daryl mentioned, in the fact that we're able to provide these services at a steep discount for membership of Colorado Society. And so here we are. So just quick about me: former Anderson, former Price, former EKSNH, former audit partner, former CFO, and now I'm the CPA coach as well as a chief growth officer for an AI company. So I dabble in a lot of things. That's what's fun about being an entrepreneur, at least I was, and being able to try lots of different things. Um, so I bring, that depth of experience to my coaching, as well as I'm a PCC, which means I'm certified as a professional coach with the ICF, which is the International Coaching Federation. And that's me. And Aaron, good to see you. I got to see you twice today. Right. So just a quick overview of this program. So each of the coaches here today are going to be running a different cohort. And by cohort, we just mean group. So we each have a different topic that we're going to be focused on with those that are in that group. And so the conversations, the work that we're going to be doing is focused on that area. So my area is really around CPA practice strategies. And so what I'm going to be talking about and working on with my group are things that further their business, that helps them get the right pricing and pricing models, helps them grow their business the way they want to, and be intentional about it as they do it, meaning that there is some vision or there is some destination they're trying to reach with their business, other than just another year and another turn around the hamster wheel of a busy season. And so that's the stuff that we'll be working with. The way the cohorts are structured is you're going to get group time. So there's going to be 3 sessions in which you are going to be with a group of individuals, all with the same goal, all with the same idea of what they're there for. But you're also, and this is the big benefit, you're also going to get 3 sessions individually with each coach, in which you get to spend time on working on very specific and individual things for you. And we feel the power of both having that group and that individual experience will just elevate the outcomes that you receive from being a part of this program. So again, my area is really going to be around that vision, being around that pricing, being around that growth and that business development that it takes to get it, and just creating a space there for folks to be working on that. It's really one of the topics I work on a lot across the country with SOHOs, so small office, home office clients. They all have a similar story, which is, I've got too many clients, or I work way too much, or I've got clients I need to fire, and I've got clients that are on my old pricing model and I haven't raised prices in 10 years, and I'm afraid to raise prices, and I don't know where my next client's going to come from if I lose one. That kind of stuff is what I'll be working on in my cohort CPA practice strategies. So that's enough of me. So I'll just turn this over to Michelle and let her have her shot here, and then we'll go to Jen. So I'll step back.
Hello. Hi, I'm excited to be here. So I started my path in public accounting or in accounting with a nonprofit. I was a finance administrator for a nonprofit for a couple of years, and then I was with EKS&H for a number of years. Had my own business for a few years, worked for another couple of firms. I last was partner in a small firm in Durango. I currently am in Fruita, Colorado, and I now have a coaching and consulting practice. So I am a certified professional coach and a certified holistic health coach. Super passionate about keeping ourselves healthy. So I personally experienced burnout several times, and really, so that will be one of the focuses of our area, is either pulling ourselves out of that or staying away from that. So as CPAs, we work long hours, we have a lot of deadlines, there's high expectations, and many of us feel stretched and stretched thin and potentially headed towards burnout. And it matters if we don't manage our energy and our stress, it affects not only our health, but also our ability to serve our clients and enjoy our lives. So my cohort that I'll be leading is the work-life flow. And so it is about balance in that area, but that looks different for everyone. CPAs face higher than average stress and burnout rates, and common experiences: fatigue, loss of focus, irritability, detachment from work or relationships, and that can drain our energy, limit effectiveness, and erode satisfaction. But imagine feeling grounded, energized, and in control, and you're able to thrive and not just get by. So I love the format that we'll be having with, as Doug mentioned, with the 3 individual sessions, working one-on-one on some personalized strategies, as well as group to have shared experiences, and have a conversation around that. So the groups will be us sharing some of our expertise, but it's not designed, it's designed to also be a conversation, and we each learn from each other. And so, helping share our experiences and what's worked for each other, and learn from each other. So in my cohort, and the sessions will be alternating, will be for all of us. We'll have a one-on-one and then a group, then a one-on-one and then a group. So that's the way that will go. And we'll be focusing on, understanding your own stress triggers and patterns, and getting insights from each other. We'll be talking about time management, which I believe is really energy management, and energy is about everything. Looking at practical time management strategies, addressing potentially perfectionism and things that make it hard to set boundaries, and exploring some mindset blocks, like believing like we need to be available all the time, or that we can't say no. And so we'll be talking about collaborative strategies to maintain healthy boundaries, and explore disconnection, whether that's from ourselves, from our families, and how that can happen and how we can reconnect. We'll talk about self-care, energy management tools, and share wins and strategies together. And we'll set up some accountability for you moving forward. And the outcome that I'm hoping for, and the benefits, would be renewed confidence that sustainable balance is possible, that you'll have tools to manage stress, time, and energy better, and understand the mindset traps that sabotage them, and have personal strategies that you can stick with, and connect with a supportive community of people and peers who get it. So if you've ever thought, I don't know how long I can keep up this pace, then this is for you. So, Jen.
I love that. And who hasn't thought that at some moment, right, in public accounting? Hi, everyone. I'm Jen Todd-Lane, and I'm really excited to be here and combine my passions for accounting and coaching. A little bit about me: I spent 20 years in public accounting. 17 years of those were with EY. I was an audit partner in the national office and also a client-serving audit partner. And I also spent 3 years at the Securities and Exchange Commission. So I've seen the profession from a lot of different angles. And I discovered coaching, I don't know, about 12 years ago, and I realized, oh, that's actually what I should be doing, even though I was in the midst of climbing the ladder and, going towards partner and all the things. And I started, actually, when I got the opportunity to make partner, I knew it wasn't going to be a forever thing for me. I knew I wanted to coach maybe partners, other accountants in the future. And so that was always my intention, was to shift at some point. And so I am an ICF certified coach, and I'm also a certified neurotransformational coach, which means I love neuroscience, and I love to embed that into my practices, and it's a lot of fun, and really passionate about supporting the accounting profession. So almost a year and a half ago, I decided to leave EY because I wanted to pursue my dreams, and that was coaching, that was teaching, and becoming a published author. And so I have learned in the last year and a half a lot, or probably the last 4 years, because it took a while to get the courage to do that, what it looks like to make a career pivot, to retire. And retire doesn't mean I'm stopping working, but I retired from my audit partner life, and to chart a new path and have intention and support along the way. And I have had a lot of coaching myself to support me through that journey. And so the cohort that I'm going to support is the retirement readiness cohort. And so that can look a lot of different ways. It might be I've gotten to the end of what I want to be my working career, and I'm ready for that next chapter, right? And so how do I set myself up for success? How do I plan? Like, what do the financial strategies look like? What do the succession planning strategies look like? What's important to me and what's next, right? What are my values and what do I hope this next chapter I'm able to focus on? And then what are the emotional and life transition areas that need to sort of be addressed? Because I will tell you, as someone who's living this currently, there's a lot of emotions that happen when you kind of go through an identity shift in your career. And so if you're not at the end of your career and you're still interested in, hey, maybe I want to do what Jen did, kind of mid-career and do a career pivot or career planning, this is still a space that we can support each other in. So we will be talking about, values or vision, and then some of the practical and logistical strategies, and then also how do we prepare ourselves emotionally for what's next. And so I'm hoping that we'll walk away with sort of an intentional plan to design that retirement or career pivot strategy and have that support of the cohort and the coaches to make that feel possible. All right, so I'm going to stop there because I want to make sure we have time for questions.
Nice. But also a little plug here. So here we have Dancing on My Own 2 Feet. And this one's by Jen, if you're interested in picking up something to read. And then we also have Burn.
I was like, you have to have Burn.
From Michelle. Michelle didn't mention this, but she just published too. And here's my book. Oh, wait, I don't have one. So I don't get to say I'm published, at least not yet.
Yes.
But anyway, if you're looking for some good reads, make sure you check out what and both of these have come out in 2025, right?
Yeah, they're new.
Yeah, so they're both new, and both you can find on Amazon. So congratulations to both of you for a very busy year. I know you've both had, and for taking your time still to contribute to the Colorado Society and the Colorado Coaching Collaborative too. So thank you for that.
Thanks, friend.
Thank you.
So we would open it up to questions. I'm sure you have some, and very safe forum. Feel free you can put them in the chat if you don't want to ask out loud, or feel free to unmute and ask any questions you have about the program we put together for you. Easy crowd. I have a question, Michelle.
Yes.
So if I was to go into your program and be a part of your cohort and came out on the other side, what would be some of the things that I would notice differently in my practice that otherwise I may not have?
In your practice. Yeah.
Mhm.
I would say better connection with your clients. I would say more productivity, potentially less, more energy, to be able to give to your work, and feeling potentially less anxious, just a little bit more in control of and in choice, rather than feeling kind of at the mercy of things, feeling like there's more intention in your day and your week and your month and your year.
I like the way you put those two words together, in control. The way you said them were different than we would normally use them, and powerful to hear. And Jen, so if there was something at the end of your cohort that I would have to look forward to, and maybe it's a feeling, or maybe it's just something completely different, what would be some of the outcomes that I would hope to have at the end of the cohort and working with you?
Yeah, I would say having a vision, so an intention, like this is what my next step is in my career life journey, and having the confidence then to feel that you can actually make that happen. We're meeting, and I think we had a question here, I think from Sheila. So remind me when these groups would start. So I think a lot of the cohorts start kind of early October, late September, and I think we would have your first initial one-on-one kind of in that mid-September. So we're meeting kind of mid-September, up until Thanksgiving, and there might be a little bit, after Thanksgiving, but that's sort of the time frame. We're not going to figure out your whole life in that time necessarily, but we're going to get you a really good start so that you can sort through what is important to me? And that might be what you walk away with, because how many of us are spending time investing in that question while we're trying to serve our client, right? So we're giving an opportunity to hold space, to think about that, to support that, and not do it alone, because you get so much more transformation when you're doing that in partnership and in community, because you also learn from each other. And one thing, maybe if you haven't done coaching before, sometimes people don't know what that means. And it's not necessarily mentoring or advising. Like, I'm not here to say, this is what you should do, put your money here. You know, like, we are not your advisors, but we're here to ask really powerful questions. And also just to reflect back, here's what I'm hearing you say, because sometimes we can't even see, you know, what we're feeling. And having that thought partner to say, it sounds like this is really important to you. And you can say, actually it is, or actually, no, it's not. It really just helps get clear and kind of clear through some of that mud in the brain. And then Erin, I think, had a question here. What's the lifespan of the cohort? So over about 3 months. So we're meeting about every other weekish, you know, like 2 to 3 weeks. Okay, and then Sheila has another question. Would a retirement plan include ideas on how to get the younger generations want what I have? It could, right? It's sort of like, is my value proposition of this profession attractive, right? And I guess, but it is focused on you, right? So it could be, maybe that's what you want your legacy to be, is to make this a profession people want to join, because we do need people to join this profession. So maybe your next chapter, that maybe that question is saying, I have a desire to be a part of that legacy. And maybe that's in my current role, maybe that's in something entirely different. But Sheila, I guess as you're asking that, I would be curious, like, okay, there's something there that's saying, I want people to want what I have.
Yeah.
There you go, coaching. There you go, coaching.
A little taste of coaching.
There it is. There
Yeah,
it is.
I love that question, Sheila, because the industry is changing. It's in a place of transformation in itself, the whole industry. And definitely the younger generation has some different focuses on the way that they want their work and their life to be. And I think that that actually might be something that would be addressed in all 3 cohorts, that really.
Sheila, did you want to come off? I think you came off mute. Did you want to share?
No problem.
Okay.
Feel free to use that chat too.
Yep.
And I, you know, it's always hard to find the right timing to start one of these types of things. And so, you know, we try to only put like one in between 9:15 and 10:15. There might be two, but we're also very aware that you continue to be busy. And so, you know, there's no there's no good place to start with the CPA these days, just because of the constant busy season. So we will have one of these in the fall, starting in September. It'll run likely through the end of November, if not the first week of December. And then we'll have another round of this post-season in the spring, and available to you. And another thing I want to say, like, about having a CPA and a coach and having that mix, like, you know, I get opportunities to talk to firms across the country, and they're always asking me, who do you advise as a coach, and who would you refer? And Michelle and Jen don't know this yet, but I mean, just yesterday I recommended both of them to a firm in California as being someone who does, you know, the coaching and is the CPA. And the benefit of having a coach with a CPA is they don't just bring empathy and compassion, which is what you'd hope a coach would bring, but they bring the experiential empathy, which some might call attunement, which means that they actually can understand and feel because they've been there and gone through what you've gone through. They know what it's like to work those hours. They know what it's like to work those deadlines. They know what it's like to work and having to serve someone and be a client service professional. They know and have experienced those things, so they bring that forth. And you don't have to educate your coach on when the deadlines are of the year, or what those tax forms mean, or what it's like to have to report to this or that, or how it's like to serve a client. Like, all those things are already in the foundation. And so when you get to work with a CPA coach, you get the benefit of not having to educate, but getting someone who's instantly there and available for you in the space you're in, and to experience it through your eyes still.
And on the question too of, if you do go to the landing page now, which is where I think you may have signed up for this, it does say when the dates are of the group session. So you can see, we tried to at least have that stated so you can see, does this work in my schedule? Like that, I don't think we're probably moving, but the individual sessions, we have flexibility to work with your schedule. So if those 3 dates you can make for the group sessions, then just know the other part we can be flexible on. If none of those work, then maybe it's a spring cohort. or you could look at, we're all different days too. So even if you're like, hey, maybe I am retirement, but Michelle's dates work better, then go in Michelle's cohort because you're going to benefit. Like we will coach you where you are too. But you can also look in your schedule and see what aligns.
Yeah, and the group sessions are set on specific dates, but the individual sessions are not. We don't have a specific time or date that you need to have that. That will be something that you will choose once you're signed up. You'll be able to schedule those individual sessions at a time that works for you.
Any other questions? Any other just curiosities or want to know more details? Anything at all?
Looking at the chat, I think we got the ones that.
We got them all, I think. Well, that's it. So, as far as a call to action, if this sounds like it's something that's interesting to you and something you want to experience, check out those links. Feel free to sign up. These cohorts will start in about a month. And again, the value that you're receiving really through the society is something that we're very excited to be able to give as members and also to promote coaching and to support our community and to see more CPAs getting the support and advocacy and alignment that they need. So unless there's anything else, Daryl.
But if you have any additional questions that you think of after this session, please reach out to Tiffany or Daryl. And if it's a specific question for one of us, they will get that information to us and we'll get your questions answered.